A very good morning to you all, dear students. So, today here in our class, very briefly, we'll try to learn the coming of Christianity in Nagaland. Okay, so very quickly, in a very short explanation, I'll be explaining to you regarding the coming of Christianity in Nagaland. So, let's get started. Our aim for today is students will be able to understand how Christianity came to Nagaland, and the resources needed is your Nagaland textbook and your notebook. Alright, so you can get ready with your notebook and your Nagaland textbook as well. Alright, let me ask you a very simple question. uh, what has transformed Naga history? What has transformed Naga history? Is it the Korean culture? Is it the Western culture? Or is it the Asiatic culture? Alright, so in order to understand, remember, okay, and keep that in mind that the arrival of missionaries in Nagaland has transformed the Naga history. Okay, so it is the arrival of missionaries in Nagaland that has transformed Naga history, which was once upon a time we were known as a hunter and a gatherers. Alright, so the conversion of the Nagas to Christianity was the beginning of many great changes in Nagaland. Alright, now when the first missionary came to Nagas where we were very poor, we were uneducated, right? But with the arrival of missionaries in Nagaland, it has transformed the history of Nagaland. Alright, and the Nagas, after the conversion to Christianity, it was the beginning of many great changes that took place in Nagaland. Okay, so remember that one. So these are the early church, okay, and the people who first came to Nagaland. Alright, now another question. How did Christianity spread in Nagaland? How did Christianity spread in Nagaland? Alright, we all are Christian, right? And we know from where we were converted, okay? And I'm sure you have also learned about that from different sources, okay? From maybe from your grandparents, maybe from your great grandparents, or maybe from your parents as well, right? That is how orally we have been learning about how we were converted to Christianity from being a hate hunters, right? Because we know that our forefathers, they were hate hunters, okay, once upon a time, and it is because of the conversion to Christianity they have stopped that. They have stopped that habit, and they have actually gave up that culture of theirs, okay, when they were converted to Christianity. So, how did Christianity actually spread in Nagaland, and from where? Alright, let me just try to explain you in brief. Okay, please keep that in mind. See, it was Reverend Nathan Brown, Reverend Miles Brownson, and Reverend O.T. Carter were the first missionaries who came to Assam. Alright, remember that when at first they came to Assam, they set up a small mission center at Sadia in Upper Assam. Now, Reverend Miles Brownson was the first missionaries to the Nagas inhabited area. Alright, so actually, three of them they first came and they settled in Assam. Okay, from there they set up a mission center in Sadia, that is in Upper Assam, and it was Reverend Miles Brownson who came first to Nagas, alright, Naga inhabited area. So he came to Nangsam, that is a Naga village, in the year 1839. Okay, so he first came to Namsang. Reverend Miles Brownson, he first came to Namsang, a Naga village, in 1839. So he started, when he first came, he started the first school for the Nagas. Okay, so another important missionary was Reverend E.W. Clark. So he was the first, he was the missionaries to the Ao Nagas. Okay, he was the first missionary to the Ao Nagas. That is Reverend E.W. Clark. All right. So Reverend E.W. Clark, along with Godula and Assamese Christian, they taught the first Naga Christian how to read and write. So when at first they came to Nagaland, they set up a school. Okay, they start up as first school for the Nagas, and from there they started the mission. All right. So in the year 1885, it was Reverend D.E. Witter, another American Baptist missionaries, was sent to Oka, okay, to work among the Lotas. Alright, that is in the year 1885. Now, another reverend by the name C.D. King, Reverend C.D. King, was deputed as a missionary to the Angamis in the year 1879. Reverend King also started a school and a church, and later Reverend S.W. Ravenbird took over the Angami mission. That is from him in 1886. Alright, so you'll see that it is very common, the name C.D. King and Reverend S.W. Ravenbird. Okay, if you have seen Ravenbird Memorial Chapel near that mission compound, okay, in Baptist College, that is built in memory of Reverend Bird, okay, Reverend S.W. Ravenbird. And you have also seen a C.D. King School, right? So all those schools as well as the memorials were constructed in memory of them, okay, here in Kohima. So C.D. King, at first he was the first missionary who were appointed in the Angami areas, okay, in the year 1879. But later on, it was Reverend S.W. Ravenbird. He took over the Angami mission from C.D. King. That is in the year 1886. So he also worked among the Regmas, the Zeliang, the Cookies, and the Sumis. Okay, that is Reverend S.W. Ravenbird. So in 1894, Reverend Clark started his American Baptist Missionary Society at Impur. So Impur was a good center not only for the Aus but also for the Sumis, the Lotas, the Changs, the Poms, the Konyak, and the Khmer. Alright, Khmer. So the progress of Christianity in Nagaland, that is in the year 19th century, was very slow. Alright, because the reason is because the attitude of the Nagas towards the missionaries, they were hostile in the beginning. They treated them very badly, okay. Some of them, they were even killed. Alright, so those who converted to Christianity were persecuted by the clan and sometimes by the whole village. So suppose if a particular person from a particular village were converted to Christianity, means they were beheaded, they were persecuted in front of the public, and some of them see they were declined by their own village or by their own clan. Okay, so at first when there was a Christianity that was spread up in Nagaland, many people who were converted to Christianity, they were declined, they were persecuted, and then they were excluded from the society. Okay, so that because of that very reason, Christianity was very slow. Okay, the progress of Christianity was very slow in the 19th century. But the activities of the missionaries were not merely confined to conversion. Alright, they did not just came for in order to convert the Nagas to Christianity, okay? Because they also carried out other social activities, such as they started medical care and formal education, okay, for the Nagas. So at the same time, when the concept of one God was taught to the Nagas, who believed in a number of spirits and had a religion with an accompanying set of elaborate rituals, they responded to the simplicity and the logic of the new religion. You see that Nagas were somehow very similar to the Hinduism. Okay, so there were many spirits that they believed, there were different kind of god that they actually perform rituals, and then they sacrifice. Okay, so there were lots of rituals, sacrifices, and lots of offering that they have to pay tribute to the spirits. All right, so after one god, the concept of one god, all right, was taught among the Nagas. Now they responded to the simplicity because it was very simple to understand, and then since everyone knows whom they are worshipping, right, that is one god. Okay, for that very reason the logic of new religion started was accepted by the Nagas. All right, so the so-called glory that the Nagas derived by hunting the heads of their fellow men was replaced by a zeal for service to humanity. Okay, so after Nagas they were converted to Christianity. They were no more hunting. Uh, okay, they were no more hunting the heads of their fellow men. All right. Instead, they now started having a patient and loving towards other fellow being. All right. So Christianity indeed has been the single most dynamic factor in modernizing the Naga society. So it has opened the door for the Nagas to think in a global context, and it has brought them into the fold of a world family. Alright, before Christianity arrived in Nagaland, before Christianity came to the Nagas inhabited area, people they were very backward. People they were uneducated. Okay, but it was because of the spread of Christianity, people they started adapting the global context, and then they were brought into the world family. Okay, so the Nagas, once not known and feared for their headhunting practices, were transformed into a modern society with the coming of Christianity. So Christianity uplifted the mental, the spiritual, and the physical lifestyle of the Naga people. Okay, so that is in a nutshell the coming of Christianity and how it has changed the society of Naga and how it has transformed the Nagas. Okay, so now things to do, that is your work for today. Question number 1: who was the first missionaries who came to Assam? Question number 2: who was the first missionaries to the Nagas? Who was deputed as a missionary to the Angamis and in which year? Question number 4: what happened to those who were first converted to Christianity? So that is you have to do in your notebook. Okay, thank you and have a good